righty. Good new day. Good first Sunday. Um, I'm I first weekends of the month are a time that I always think about this car show that I always want to go to.
Mhm.
And they make you get up at like 8 o'clock in the morning to drive like an hour to get to wherever. Um, in order for you to walk around this kind of free place and enjoy the cars. And so first Sundays are always a place where I think also about church and waking up at 8 o'clock in the morning and having to get suited and booted, right? The same thing with the whole cars. So I just want to thank you for just giving any kind of space on this Sunday um, to me and that kind of breath of relaxation and kind of intentional love. Um, because there is a certain, I guess you would say, reprieve that we all get on Sundays that's kind of been structured into our lives and into our Western world. And so anything that you're voluntarily kind of putting in there, I just want to thank you. I just want to thank you. Um, and with that, I also, as usual, want to open up with our ancestors, uh, opening up with just a moment where we breathe in and we breathe out and we just take a moment to remember, right? So now that you've gotten all of your tech kind of in place, you know that you can hear my voice, you can probably see yourself or not see yourself. Maybe we just take a breath of pause and just feel into our bodies. Notice ourselves just being here. I'd like to also recognize that we are the oldest human beings to inhabit this planet Earth. Recognizing our ancient ancestry and purpose for being. Allowing a moment of remembrance for this earth that supports and sustains us just by feeling your sits bones land wherever they are being supported. That solid foundation has come to nurture and support you. And so you can just be. And in the next breath, we ask all of the invisible spirits of love and guidance, the openers of the way, those that communicate with more than just our material realm, just honoring that we are more than what we see, thanking those divine forces of protection for always guiding us. And perhaps when you feel that force of loving guidance and protection, you can relax your shoulders just a little bit more. Perhaps you can drop into your heart just a moment more. And allowing that sense of safety and protection to reach all the way down into your belly. Down into your spine, the base of your spine, and down, down, down into the earth. And whenever you're ready, you can wiggle your toes or your fingers, flutter open your eyes if you so choose to look at the screen. And welcome into this first iteration of the law of attraction. Now, I was encouraged to do the law of attraction based on love relationships, right? And so I'd love any feedback on um, even what you understand of the law of attraction or any kind of concepts around that. Or you can drop it in the chat.
So, oh, okay. Well, can you hear me?
Yep.
All right. Um, I've been, I don't know, working with or thinking about and reading about this quite a bit lately.
Mhm.
Particularly, it's in my pursuit of a new job as I needing to leave my current space. Um, and so the thing that, keeps coming up is that, that which you focus on is the thing that you attract, and then and so and also I don't know, there's like this subconscious piece that's always working. And so for me, like working on that subconscious feels that just feels like I know it's really important just because there's just been things input in there that I really need to clear out. Um, so that's, I guess, would say that the key thing that in terms of my understanding and being reminded of like that which you focus on, you bring in, and you can shift that focus. Um, and so it feels like for me, incorporating practices to do that on a regular basis um, is is a thing that I'm working with right now. So I don't know. Yeah, so that's
Perfect.
that's my
No, that's
understanding.
perfect because what I loved what you said was about the practice. And that's why that's super duper important to me. And that's one of my biggest whys is the practice, right? Um, Mainly because it's discredited as wishful thinking when seen from a mass view of The Secret, the documentary The Secret, which gathered a bunch of healers to tell the story of how self-reflection, and raising your own personal expectations can deliver the expectation, right? And the only way that we really knew how to, or I feel like the maybe perhaps the um, show could show that was through materialism, right? So you put on a vision board a car that you want, and then you will look up and you will see that you are driving that car in real life, right? So that's kind of the only way that we would be able to understand it. And I don't know how long ago the secret came out, but maybe it was something like 20 years now. Like it seems like a blip of time, right? It's like I wanted to say 10, and I was like, no, 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 baby. It was definitely not 10 years because 5 years ago was COVID. So there's no way it could, right? Um, and so for me, I thought that it was important for us to have a conversation around what the law of attraction is and um, how real it really is. But it's all based on steps of healing. That's it. It's healing your subconscious mind of all of the things that you have held in your, what we as healers call frequencies. So, of course, I do sound baths, and what happens in the sound baths is that there's an energetic, intentional connection, right? You've come to say, okay, I want to rest. I don't really know what this is, but I need something more than what my logical mind has, what I mean, brought me to. So then you are able to gently relax, relaxing because the sound waves themselves are giving you the vibration of just chill out. In that chill out space that we have intentionally created together is where I can see where you have been holding subconscious or conscious thoughts about your reality. Right? And if those are in discord with what actually brings you peace, there will be a friction, right? And that friction forces me to play that particular bowl even more, let's say. So if I'm saying, oh, okay, well, I had to play the root chakra for you. There is this space inside the root chakra where your mind is telling you home is not safe. My body is not safe. My first place of evolution, for whatever reason, is not safe, or it is not enough to hold and energetically keep me safe. And so I play to that particular chakra because that's what then I'm drawn to play. And that clears out this vibration of not enoughness or I'm not safeness, right? If I do a sound bath and I'm drawn to the heart, right? People always have issues around the heart, whether that be with their family members or whether that be with relationships. So, whenever I'm playing in that place, it's asking for energetic alignment to what is true in that person's heart so that they can attract whatever actual reciprocal love is really waiting there for them. But their thoughts and their trauma is blocking them from this place of peacefully abiding in their hearts. So, the law of attraction is and the secret are concepts around let's put in front of you what you think is impossible, right? So I'm going to make this vision board. I can make it just on a 2D plane so that I can look at it and I can continually do practices that say, this is where I want to be. This is the actual vibration that feels really, really good to me. These are the things that light me up on the inside. These are the things that bring me actual joy. And so when you have that practice of continually looking at that vision board or that journal or that screensaver, like now the kids just be like, I just put it on my phone, auntie. Like, okay, well, have wherever it's feeding you in that reality, that's the most important thing. Because the law of attraction, believe it or not, is all about your actual five senses. It's about how you feel. It's about what you understand and know as possible, right? And so it takes practice to get to that point. When you hear all these, um, I guess you would say, folks in YouTube videos, let's just say, or online or on social media, speaking about manifestation and how manifestation is real or not real or whatever the case may be, we're all talking about energy. We're all talking physics. That's 100% what you push down the hill is going to be pushed down the hill. Whatever you push up the hill, you're pushing up the hill. Like it's all just energy, right? That whatever energy you put in is the energy that you're going to get out. So when you get to a point where you are at a block of energy where you're saying to yourself, I'm looking around here and I don't really like what I see. Okay, you're the one who manifested that. So what's the block? Why can't we get ourselves past that part? When you start to dig, am I smooth? Okay. When you start to dig because my screen froze. When you start to dig deeper into why this thing is blocking me, there is an energetic frequency within you that is preventing the block. And this is what I hated this morning when I was like, well, how do I download this? And it was like, you just gonna have to tell them it's all their fault. Right. Right. So part of the grounding was first remembering that you are the most ancient being on this planet, right? And I say that because there has to be a in your subconscious mind understanding that you are beyond this present moment. If you have ancestors and you know you believe in ancestors, you just even had someone who gave birth to you, then there was somebody who gave birth to her. There was somebody who gave birth to her. There's somebody, you keep going, because you're a black woman, right? So when you get all the way back to the original person, there's this original person that folks are still saying was a black woman. And so all the genius of what we are encountering now is a thought and a concept from that one original woman, right? Every road that you see, every airplane that we fly, every car that we drive, the phones that we're just like, how does this magically happen? It was a thought and a concept first. And then thought and concept became an actual reality for us. I remember, and it may have been, um, um, when we're in our imagination and we're kids, we're a lot broader. But I remember saying, I want to talk to my grandma in real time. There be no barrier. Like, I don't understand why I have to talk to her on the phone. Why can't I just see her? And I get to do that every single week. I'm in Atlanta. She's in Missouri. We talk on FaceTime every single week. It started as a thought first. Somebody else was somewhere sitting saying, I want to see somebody in real time. I wonder if that could happen. Right? We have no idea how the internet works in real life. Like, I don't even know how my car works. Right? Like, I push the button and shit goes. Right? I don't need to know. I don't even understand or begin to know the details. But what I do know is if somebody stopped first, that they sit in a vehicle that is comfortable, that has air conditioning, that will take them from one place to the next place fluidly. And so, what is it that you can't do? Right. Right. All of that started from that very first mother who gave birth to someone else, who gave birth to someone else, who gave birth to someone else. You see what I'm saying? Those are all manifestations of that very first human being who probably said, I want to be more comfortable to do this. I want this, and this to happen in my life. I want this, and this to be available for the world, et cetera, et cetera. So for me, the law of attraction is about what they say about truly living in your genius. Because if you've been downloaded a certain expectation of something, there's nothing that can hold you back from that reality. And so if we as a collective decided, in our group of three, we want Oprah to be our mentor for magical aunties, there is somebody that we know who has Oprah's number. Right? There is some kind of will or a way for her to be like, oh yeah, I did call that group of three people that one time that had the conversation and we was whatever it is that we want in order to manifest our reality, we can completely have it if that's what we so choose. And so the practice of it is actually our own healing work, right? In order to get from A to Z, it's really just about shattering all of those layers in between of barriers of why not, right? Why not? So, what I would love for us to do, we're going to do a couple of things. We're going to start kind of a little mini regular exercise and journal. We're going to do practice. Sorry, I'm looking around on my computer here. We're going to do some practices around the law of attraction so that you know what it is that you can practice on your own, so that you can get the so that you can begin to manifest and see kind of small things created in your life before you start to create the bigger things, right? So um me and Miss Jackson, Jewel on here, we had a special moment where she saw an owl in my home. And I told her I'd never seen the owl before. And she had a Care Bear shirt also. And I don't remember exactly how that went, but I told her, like, you manifested the Care Bear shirt. Right? Like that was something that you wanted, and you're not recognizing that when you think it, it becomes a thing. Right? Whenever it is that you want or need something, it becomes a thing. I also had this happen for me in my own personal life, in that I, when I get very, 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 very focused on material things, my everything collapses. Because what I start to think is, I don't have, I do not have, I'm not worthy of, I am not blah, 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 blah. And those thoughts become the things that then keep me stuck in that reality. So we got to do taxes, right? So, okay, girl, get your big girl panties on now. Every single week, I got this, Money Mondays is what I called it for the last 2 years. I ain't went to not one of my Money Monday meetups with myself. Okay. Kept it on the calendar though. The one Monday I said, okay, so you're gonna do this. You're gonna have to, what have you, gonna have to figure it out. I pull up this account that has all of my transactions for the last year. It said that I had made $10,000 the entire year for 12 months. That's less than $1,000 a month. I was like, so you said what? I go into a spiral, right? Because I'm just like, how did this, how was I, this can't be, da 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 da, right? As I go into the deep spiral, I go, wait a minute. I moved 3 times. I now live at a private lake. Like, I have a car that runs, that the insurance is like $100 a month. To fill it up is $25. Like, I'm sitting here like, if you put 10,000, or you put 100,000, or you put 1,000,000, it, I would have literally had the same exact life. This is the life that I wanted. Right? So it's like, oh, the biggest lesson here is, you're constantly thinking about cash, money as a validation of who and what you are. And for the whole entire year, you have manifested and been in joy, in purpose, doing all the things that you love and know. And perhaps this is what came from it, but also you ain't missing that, not near a meal. Right? You've successfully gotten a 4.0 in graduate school. As I started to think about it, I was like, oh, that $10,000 started when I stopped nipping at my savings, because I said to myself, I had spent so much money from January, February, March, April. I had spent something from my savings, something like $15,000 to $20,000, because I was used to living off of a certain amount. And I remember saying, Shayna, you can't keep living off of your savings like this. You have to do something different, because you're not going to have any kind of savings left. So I shifted and was like, I'm not taking anything else out of savings. I'm going to live off of what I'm really actually making. Of course, I didn't remember that shit when I looked at this. Right? But what happened and what shifted, you see what I'm saying, in me, was that the thing that you thought was not a reality, which was you being a full-time healer, you being a full-time student, you walking into a whole entire new life, it perhaps looked different monetarily, but how you felt throughout the year, you did not feel depressed. You had times that you were extremely stressed and you had to find other ways to de-stress, you know what I'm saying, yourself. You had to learn so many things about what it truly meant to be, really truly call in manifestation, not in a material way. Because if you, um, let's say you have the money to live in the biggest, best house, right, because you could just give the money, I would have never known certain friendships. and interdependence. My hyper independence of being the strong Black woman had to be demolished. Right. So, in order for me to learn what that lesson looked like, I couldn't have the money where I could just do all the things that I had previously done when I was a six-figure person. It had to completely flop itself on its head. Right. So, the law of attraction, what it 100% does is go into that subconscious, whatever it is that you think is blocking you, and says, you now have to transcend that beyond any ideas and expectations. You now have to go into what it actually feels like to completely embody that thing that you want and you see, right? So that's what we're going to practice. We're going to practice setting the intention, completely embodying what it means to be that intention, and then being able to write and journal what it felt like, or what was uncovered in that space. So the first thing about the law of attraction, number one, is that you're connecting with source. You're not connecting with anything outside of yourself. And when I mean this, I'm talking, you're not connecting with ancestors. Remember how last class I taught you about, embodying elemental spirit, any of those things. This is 100% source, God, creator. That's it. That source, God, and creator, I want to be very, very clear, is a stillness only within. This is not a place that Jesus resides, Shiva resides. It is the place that Buddhists go to reside. It is what it springs out of that stillness is Jesus's wisdom, or Krishna's wisdom, or whatever deity's space is. It's what they tapped into in order to then teach the greater masses what it is they learn in that stillness. It's where I believe, I guess, Jesus went when they said he disappeared from 12 to whatever age, right? With the pharaohs and what have you. He was going into probably this inner space of knowing and really understanding and really evolving, for Jesus to then come back out and say, I'm a child of God. Like, I already know I'm co-creating with the creator. You too can do all of these things the same that I am. Just let me teach you how to do that. And 90% of the time, like all the rest of the sages, he's saying it begins with this place of love. Maybe Jesus was doing LSD. I don't know. Maybe he was in there doing ayahuasca. Probably so. So the law of attraction, number one, right, is about a stillness within. Really understanding that you are connecting with a source energy that is beyond um, any other humans or things um, addition. Nothing is being added to you here. This is nothing that is outside of you here. This is 100% dropping into the inner part of you. That inner part of you, or source energy, right, connects with the all. So what happens in the law of attraction is you start communicating with the all, and then the all goes, okay, I'm gonna make all this stuff. Right? So being very, very centered in this place of the inside source is what we are looking to do. We're not looking, again, to connect with any ancestors. We're not looking to connect with anything, um, any other um, elemental forces. We are just going to the center within, right? And when we're going into that center within, what's going to happen is that it feeds us back reality. So, what I mean is, when we're going into meditation, we're going to do a meditation probably about 15 minutes, right? What happens is it feeds us back the information through feeling, sensing, and seeing. When we're in this space of meditation, we are just letting everything go so that we can hear, sense, taste, download any of the information. Does that make sense? Yes, no, maybe so. Okay. And then when we're coming out of that space, then we're journaling down what it is that we experienced. This is kind of a way of how do I say, I don't want to just say it's a way of emptying, of getting it out, but it is a way of creating like your own personal grimoire of evolution, right? It's our own kind of conversations with God, if you've read that book, which is, what did I see and experience? Okay, now let me actually document it so that I don't think that I made it up. Right? So that I can go back at some point and read it and be like, aha, that was an aha moment. You begin to see patterns, right? You see patterns of thought. You will also see patterns of because we're all writers here. You'll even see your handwriting shift and change, perhaps, right? You'll see the, oh, when that one I was tense. Oh, this one I had a fluidity. You'll begin to draw color. You'll begin to express yourself in whatever ways that needs to be released in order to heal. You keep coming back every single time. The practice is you come back day after day. You set your intention. You allow yourself to completely just feel. You let every expectation go. When you're finished, then you write. And then you go on with your day. What you are going to see again in your writing or in your reflections are places where you have resistance, right? So all law of attraction folks have this thing that they call resistance, right? And so resistance is where we get what they call out of alignment. When you begin to see your resistance, you can then release the resistance. And that's where, the manifestation then begins to flow. So the resistance is the place that I feel when I'm doing your sound bath. Okay, I gotta really get into this root chakra here. We've got resistance there, right? So then the bowls and the frequency just realign you into this place where you can begin to let that resistance go. And for some folks, then they gotta go to the bathroom, literally. Right? Because their base chakra is now released of all the bullshit they've been holding. And now they're ready to move, right? Everything in their bowels are now like moving again because now they don't have this resistance of, it's not safe, it's not safe, it's not safe. I gotta hold this in, I gotta hold this in, I gotta hold this in, I gotta hold this in. Right? All of those safety, the reality where source says, I would have never brought you here if you're not safe. I got you. You got something far better and deeper to do than being scared from when you were 3 years old. That was an old program that kept you safe then, but now we're here. Right. So this is a reason that it becomes a healing work that is not um, simple, but the more you master it, the quicker you timeline jump, the quicker you get into the manifestation. So I know for us, we were talking about your job situation, right? And I remember the things that were coming up. The spirit was like, this is the pot of gold we holding, and this is how you get to the pot of gold. You see what I'm saying? That we holding for you. It comes through these kind of sources, right? But until you can get past the resistance that my community holds my wealth, you can't get to the pot of, oh, it's actually easy for me to shift into that because I've got already this plethora of folks and community that's already holding space for me in that place. And so what I learned by being a healer is I can't move the person from that to the pot of gold. The biggest thing is that I at least affirm for the ancestors that I told you the message so that we can work to get to the pot of gold. Right? So I can tell you that part, like, okay, this is what it is. But then that work in between is now has to be yours to work through so that you can collapse that time and then you can be in the place that you truly need to be. What I also really love about um, resistance is it tells us where we are truly, truly unhappy, right? So, like I was saying about the $10,000, was I unhappy for this last year? Like, absolutely not. I have periods of extreme frustration, because I am literally used to being that chick, the one who's like, oh, you need a plane ticket? I'll buy it. You know what I mean? You need to go here? I'll give it to you. So though in those ways that I'm this strong Black woman that I can give everything and give, now I'm in this place where I have to be in the receiving end. And that receiving end was like, oh, well, this is a bit softer. This is a bit, oh, this is kind of like a little bit of a relief. This kind of feels good. This kind of feels exactly what I asked for, right? So the resistance helps us to know what it is that we're actually is like, this is grinding my gear. Why is this grinding my gear? Why does this job grind my gear? What is making it so that I can't feel like that I'm trapped inside this gear, right? Why do I feel like I'm trapped in relationships that don't actually give to me, right? Why do I feel oftentimes that I'm just exhausted at the end of the day? The law of attraction is going to force you to feel it, look at it, and completely release whatever it is, because those kind of knots are kind of spirit's way of being like, we're going to knot you up until you face it and you're able to release it. Because the secret of our lives is really a really amazing divine flow, where every kind of challenge is just a challenge and a learning experience, but not a place that we're supposed to get cancer or stop or, have high blood pressure, diabetes. All of those kind of physical ailments and mental ailments are all places where we're just simply blocked and we are refusing to find a deeper way to solve it. Diabetes 100% is about love. You're trying to find the sweet. You're trying to find the sweet within, you're trying to find the sweet without, you're blocking sweet, you're not receiving sweet, you're not processing sweet, the sweet joys of life. Maybe you're overkilling on it because you really don't know a balance. Every single physical ailment has something to do with us in our blocks. Same with the heart attack, right? Your heart now cannot pump the blood in this very fluid and flow type of way, probably because something bigger in society has told you need to be overly logical. Right? You need to just do the thing. It doesn't matter if your heart is in it or if it is in it. You just need to stop and make sure that you just do the thing that you're supposed to do and follow the directions and follow the rules and be in control. And your heart is just like, but I got a feeling. I got a feeling. And you keep stopping it. Keep stopping that heart. You keep stopping that heart from flowing. So those are some practical examples of kind of how it's all one circle, right? Okay. So let's get into this meditation. I'm going to turn us around. Get your notebooks out. And what I would love for you to do is to create one simple and small. I want you to write it down. Simple and small intention or manifestation, as they say. Now, you can phrase your intention in any kind of way you want, right? You can put it as an I am statement. If you're good with creating those kind of clear intentions for yourself, it can be even a goal. So if I were to make a money goal, let's say my goal would be um, in the next 3 weeks, next however many, you put a time limit on it even. I'll make XYZ amount of money. Um, it could be love in, the next 4 weeks. I'll go on XYZ amount of dates, right? It could be any kind of small intention that you would like. And just write that down. And then when you write that down, go ahead and sit in a place that is super comfortable or lay down in a place that's super comfortable. And as you begin to close down the windows of your eyes, Maybe you allow yourself just to breathe a little deeper. And I'd love for you to loosen your grip on reality. As you're loosening your grip on reality, you're just bringing yourself to the present moment. You're feeling how your body feels. You're coming into the current state of awareness by just allowing your belly to extend and collapse. Again, you're just gently allowing your belly to extend and collapse. As you extend your belly, just letting all the air in, maybe you allow yourself to imagine light moving into the center of your belly. And then as you exhale, allow that light to travel all throughout your body and out into space. Again, you inhale light, and then you exhale, just allowing that light to expand and extend. Allowing that light to be whatever color or manifestation that you see it. No pressure. Inhaling that light into the center of your being, wherever that center is for you. And exhaling and allowing it to extend and spread. Just noticing how easy it is to inhale and exhale. Continuing to keep your mind just in the present moment. Seeing the light absorb into your body as you inhale. Allowing it to extend and broaden with your exhale. And gently remembering your intention. As you continue to breathe, you gently allow an image of a mirror to appear right in front of you. Allowing yourself to continue in the space of your heart. Allow yourself to gently gaze into the mirror as if you're looking into a still lake. There's nothing you need to do besides gently breathe and gaze. Continuing to watch as if you're watching a movie. No expectations. Your total body is comfortable and you can just gaze in the mirror at the lake, at this reflection. Allow yourself to be in a non-judgmental zone. In this space, there's no good and there's no bad. And for one final time, just gently residing in the space of your heart, remembering your intention. Coming back into your breath, pulling all of that light into your in breath, allowing it to gently expand into the out. Allowing the image of the mirror to go, or the image of the lake. Just coming back into that breath and that light. Wrapping yourself again in divine protection. Wiggling your fingers and toes. And grabbing your notebook whenever you're ready. And for the next 2 to 3 minutes, what I want you to write is specifically how your body felt and what you saw in your mirror. Please do not skip the feelings. How you feel?
I feel good. Um, I'm aware that it's something I need to continue to do, right? The thing that I find, I know it, I'm aware of this thing often. And so there was a moment, well, you didn't ask about this, but like there was a moment where I could feel the doubt. And
Mhm.
so it like came in. Um, and it's like I get this physical sensation. It's like really quick. And it was like at close to the top of it. And so
Okay, so let's stop right there. No,
okay,
this is exactly what I'm asking. You're like, no, that's not what you, no, this is exactly what I'm asking.
okay.
And the reason I'm holding the class so that we can go through it together. So, number one, when the doubt comes in really quick and you can feel it in your body, where are you feeling it?
I feel it like on my chest, like
Okay.
on the particular side, which I'm pointing to because I have a terrible sense of direction, left, my
Left.
left side.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, and it's like and it also in my belly, like there's like God, no, it's just like it's so quick, but I recognize it. Like it's just
Mm-hmm.
that physical thing, and I'm like, oh, okay. And I
Mm-hmm.
have an awareness mentally of it, right? But in
Mm-hmm.
terms of like the feeling,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah.
Okay. So this is why it's perfect. This is why the practices of the law of attraction and the way that I'm teaching you is so important. So number one, you have this physical sensation that is in this space. This is your heart space, right? So and then we know that we're having it, you said on the left side. So I'm going to break
Mhm.
that down just from a healer's perspective. The left side is your feminine. The right side is your masculine.
Mhm.
Okay. So please take note whenever you feel things on a certain side to then ask yourself, is this my feminine side or is this my masculine side? Right. We're talking energy here. Right. So we're talking giving versus receiving, is what I'm saying by masculine and feminine. All right. That can also go to our past lessons on, ancestry. We have talked about you writing a book about the females in your ancestry, right? So when things kind
Mhm.
of come up on that left side, we know that we're talking about this feminine side if we were talking about ancestry. But if we're talking about energy, we're talking about receiving. And then we're in the heart. So that means that there's some type of receiving in the heart space, that there becomes a little energy glitch. Energy is subtle as fuck. So
Mhm.
when I do this, the same thing happens to me, and my shoulder twitches like that. I'll be doing a
Mhm.
meditation. What the fuck is that little twitch? So tiny, right? And I'm like, oh, like after the practice of understanding what that twitch meant, it was like, okay, because that part that was the exact same for you. Like, oh, this feeling that I can honestly, lovingly receive was kind of jacked up,
Mhm.
right? So
Yeah,
then the next thing is you feel it in your gut. Your gut is God. That's your solar plexus. Those are your spaces of creation. That's the confidence in being and receiving exactly who and what you were born to do. So then you combine those two things to inform where your resistance
Mhm.
right? Where your resistance is where the fear resides, right? That's where the fear resides. That's the whole point of me teaching the way that I am, because if you keep practicing it, you start to pinpoint where that fear resides. You can then solve that energetically, mentally, and spiritually, and unblock that lie that has been being held in your body. Your body is trying to tell you this is where, this is where I'm frustrated. This is where, when you imagine this thing, the reason that I can't get to that next step is because I feel like I can't just gently and lovingly receive the bigness of my will, right? The bigness of what God has created for me to do. I don't feel confident in order to walk into that as a reality in my full and total being. So it's
makes
super,
sense.
Yeah, and it's like, and it's like it's complete. And like when I discovered, like, oh my gosh, like when they have that book that's called The Body Keeps the Score and all this kind of stuff, it's
Mhm.
like we're literally out here walking antenna. It's telling our body is literally telling us everything. That's the only reason I feel like we were created with a physical body, was so that we could be like, oh, that's messing up. Oh, okay, well, wait, what's my mind thinking, or what have I learned here that's not, you know what I mean, in accordance to what the divine will is. This is the reason that people are like, you could be in a fountain of youth. You know what I'm saying? Because you can continue to kind of regenerate your energy if you really want to, and bring yourself into peaceful existence. Your body is always trying to tell you what is going on. And so the practice of a law of attraction is to sit with source, receive what is it that I feel in accordance to this thought and this manifestation. How do I report it so that I truly know it? This is that taking that time